Welcome back. It is 6:42 on your Monday morning. So sometimes to make a relationship work, you have to put in the work. So this morning we're learning about couples counseling. Counselor Mindy Cardelein is here with another Mental Health Monday with Mindy. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you as always.
You too.
So how do you know, if you're in a relationship, if this is something you should consider?
Yeah. So couples counseling is always going to be a great idea, especially early on. We want to try to have early interventions. So you don't want to wait until we're at the point of getting divorced to consider couples counseling. So if we're starting to notice maybe a little bit more fighting than normal, maybe a little bit of distance, or even a really big change like becoming parents or moving, job stress, those are all really great times to consider couples therapy.
Is it harder then, like if you do wait until like the catastrophic moment where I don't want to see you ever again type of thing? Is it harder to kind of get through something when you go to couples therapy at that point in the relationship?
Yes, and to be honest, that's with any mental health issue. The longer we wait, the harder it's going to be. It's like you have to dig yourself out of that hole. So if you're down really deep in that hole, it's going to take a little bit longer to get yourself out.
So not every partner is always willing, I guess. So what's your best advice for somebody out there who maybe, like the husband or the wife really thinks, okay, we should work on something, let's go, and the other one is just going, nope, not going. How do you handle that?
Yeah, so that's a really common thing that we notice with couples therapy. So the best advice that I give people is, you're going to get with couples therapy what you put into couples therapy. So if we have one person who's not willing to do the work or not really willing to participate fully, be mindful about what your expectations are. So we always talk about treatment goals and, how we're going to meet those goals. So keep in mind, it's going to be really difficult to meet those goals if we don't have both people on board. Obviously, couples therapy takes work on both parts. I always encourage people to also do their individual work too. Whenever we're working with couples issues, it's not isolated to just the relationship. So that combination of individual and couples therapy together with both of the people doing the work is going to, end up in the best results.
So is it, are there different approaches, I guess, then to couples therapy? Everybody's in a sort of a different situation, I guess, right?
Yeah, so depending on what stage in the relationship that you're in is going to kind of frame what couples therapy looks like too. And again, what your willingness to participate is going to look like, as well as the issues that you're coming in with. So, you can do an alphabet soup of therapy. So you can have, CBT therapy, you got EFT, you got some Gottman method. So all of those things are going to be helpful things. But the most important thing with couples therapy is making sure you're working with someone you feel comfortable with. So that's going to be more important than whatever treatment modality you're going with is, do I feel comfortable with this person? And, do I feel like I'm going to be able to make some progress? How
do you get somebody to come out of their shell a little bit? I assume that, a lot of people, when they come in, and maybe I'm just naive, but have a bit of a wall up and don't feel comfortable sharing something with somebody they don't know. How do you break down that barrier?
Sure. So anytime with therapy, you can end up with a mixed bag. So you have some people who are super open, and that's awesome. They'll tell you their whole life story. That's great. But there are people, especially with couples therapy, again, sometimes there's one partner who's maybe a little bit more closed off than the other. So a lot of it is really about just establishing that rapport. So trying to help them feel comfortable. Sometimes using humor can help. Talking about things that are going well and not just the things that we need to work on.
Nice. So if anybody out there is considering this, how do they go about finding one? Is you just Google?
Yeah. So Google's a great resource. The first thing that I always encourage people to do, we talked about what to expect with therapy before, is start with your insurance company. Not all insurances are going to cover couples therapy. So if you're planning on using insurance, that's a really great place to start. Find somebody who's in your network and get an idea of what that cost is going to look like. Outside of that, talking to other resources, family, friends, Google. So those are all really great spaces to find someone too.
All right, there you go. Now you have kind of what to expect if you do go to that. It's not all gloom and doom. Don't worry. Mindy, thank you so much. As always.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we have much more after the break. Keep it here. Up next, good people, good coffee, and a good cigar too. Nicole's in Camel checking out Cigar Vibes when we come back.